The character Orin appears to have a dark and ominous design, fitting for a horror or eerie atmosphere. A shadowy, almost faceless form with sharp, chaotic extensions resembling spines, tendrils, or jagged appendages. Orin could be an entity or a creature born from darkness or chaos, potentially an antagonist in a horror narrative. Given Orin's design, his death might tie into his own chaotic nature, either consumed by his instability or defeated through light or purity. Another possibility is that Orin's death was self-inflicted, as a sacrifice to protect or destroy something greater than himself, further deepening his tragic narrative. Ratty, the transformation post-death shows a collapse of his former self. The skeletal exposure and remnants of his form suggest that his death was violent or tragic, possibly tied to his inability to contain his chaotic nature. Ratty might have met his end in a confrontation with Orin or another powerful entity. His death could symbolize the consequences of unchecked rage or ambition, making his fall a critical turning point in the narrative. Kluker appears to have a bird-like, unsettling design. The exaggerated features, such as large, bulging eyes and sharp, angular shapes, evoke a sense of chaos and madness. His wide open mouth implies a scream or a state of perpetual alarm, adding to his eerie demeanor. Kluker could have once been a normal creature, corrupted or transformed by exposure to a dark force or entity, explaining his unsettling appearance. If Klukar meets his end, it could symbolize the destruction of innocence or the inevitability of chaos consuming itself. Fun Bot. A robotic design with a dark, screen-like faceplate, likely meant to obscure its true emotions or intentions. Funbot's death could symbolize the destruction of corrupted technology, perhaps involving a character overcoming fear or distrust of technology to defeat it. Veneria. Her form has a green, vine-like body, suggesting a connection to nature or a plant-based origin. Veneria's demise could symbolize the destruction of corrupted beauty or the triumph of purity over decay. Gray. A simple yet haunting figure with a monochromatic palette, symbolizing neutrality or sadness. The large, expressive eye reflects a sense of vulnerability or unease. If Gray meets his end, it could be a sacrificial act, emphasizing his deep compassion or commitment to protecting others. Survival. Alternatively, Gray might endure as a beacon of hope or wisdom, carrying the story's moral center forward. Brewed betrayal or conflict. His death may have been the result of a betrayal by someone he trusted, adding an emotional layer to the story. Garnold's description. His grotesque, half-decayed state suggests he is in a liminal space between life and death, making him both unsettling and pitiable. The exposed ribcage and bloodied features hint at a violent past or some form of corruption. His wide, manic eyes and eerie grin suggest he might be experiencing inner torment or madness. Experimentation gone wrong. Garnold may have been the subject of an experiment or a victim of a curse that left him in his current state. His half-dead nature could symbolize the unintended consequences of tampering with life and death. Perhaps Garnold once sought to save others, but his efforts led to his own downfall, leaving him as a tragic figure trying to make amends. Based on Lime's unsettling and vivid appearance, here are possible causes of his death that could tie into his design and the narrative. Poisoning or corruption. What happened? Lime's green, drippy appearance suggests he may have been poisoned or corrupted by a toxic substance. This could have caused his body to decay while still alive, leading to a slow and agonizing death. It might have been an accident caused by his environment, perhaps tied to Veneria or another nature-themed character whose abilities went out of control. Lime's injuries and skeletal form suggest he could have been caught in a brutal fight. His eye dangling from its socket and his decayed face imply he suffered severe physical trauma. Sky's description. His single, massive, realistic eye obscured by a dark bar gives him a haunting and otherworldly quality, suggesting he sees things beyond normal perception. The dripping blood and exposed elements of his form indicate a violent or grotesque end. Sky may have been a product of an experiment or genetic modification. His unique form could indicate he was built to serve a purpose, but the process either failed or had dire consequences, leading to his destruction. Funbot or another technological entity might have been involved in crafting Sky, only to abandon or destroy him when things went awry. Sky's grotesque appearance and death might be the result of a curse or forced transformation, where his body and mind were twisted until he could no longer survive. Mr. Sun appears as a mysterious and enigmatic figure with a design that radiates intrigue and darkness. A singular, realistic eye surrounded by sharp, jagged rays gives Mr. Sun a cosmic or supernatural aura, suggesting he is a being of immense perception or influence. Overuse of power. Mr. Sun's immense ability to observe and influence might have drained his energy or caused his own destruction. His death could have been a direct consequence of seeing too much or manipulating forces beyond his control. Mr. Sun's connection to celestial or supernatural forces might have led to his death during a cosmic or otherworldly event. Durple's playful yet menacing design offers a fascinating mix of charm and danger. Durple might have thrived in chaos, using his cunning and adaptability to manipulate situations. However, his overconfidence could have led him into a trap or confrontation with a force he underestimated, such as Orin or Sky. Durple's cunning nature might have made him a target of distrust among his allies. He could have been betrayed during a critical moment by someone who saw him as a threat or an obstacle. Mr. Tree is a character whose dark and imposing presence suggests he carries a significant and ominous role. His towering tree-like structure with a massive red crown evokes a sense of dominance and rooted power, symbolizing growth, stability, or even danger. Decay from within. Mr. Tree's death might have been caused by internal decay or corruption. His towering form could have made him overconfident, leaving him vulnerable to rot or a parasitic force that weakened him over time. The red on his crown might symbolize fire or destruction. Mr. Tree could have been engulfed in flames during a battle or as a result of his own actions, leading to his eventual demise. Simon's design is highly unsettling, suggesting he plays a significant role in the narrative, possibly as a villain or a chaotic force. Simon's insatiable hunger for control or destruction might have led to his undoing. Perhaps he pushed his abilities too far, destabilizing his own form and leading to his demise. Mr. Fun Computer presents an interesting blend of minimalism and mystery, suggesting he serves as a technological entity or a central hub for communication, control, or guidance within the story. A corrupted AI role. If he was once designed for entertainment or assistance, he might have become corrupted over time, turning into a sinister force bent on controlling or destroying everything he interacts with. Wenda's design exudes a mix of eerie simplicity and sharpness, making her stand out as a character with a potentially dark and complex role in the story. Wenda might have been overtaken by a corrupting force, such as a curse or a technological plague, that hollowed her out and left her skeletal. Wenda might have died fighting desperately to maintain her purpose or protect something important, even when the odds were against her. Pinky's description, her damaged and bloodied form, with one side of her face seemingly destroyed, implies a violent and catastrophic end. Pinky might have been involved in a climactic confrontation where she sustained mortal injuries trying to fight back or protect others. Jevon's description, the deep blue hue and circular, featureless face create an aura of calmness, mystery, and detachment. Sacrificial end. Jevon might have chosen to give up his life quietly, perhaps to protect someone else or stabilize a chaotic situation. His silent sacrifice would reflect his understated yet profound role,